Live from the internet and recorded on May 1st, 2018. This is the Crystal Chronicles, episode number 8 of Season 2. This is your Final Fantasy Dissidia Omnia podcast. Of course, the official and unofficial source of podcast-based information for the game. My name is Pierre. I am, as usual, bombing the intro and joined by my co-host Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey Pierre, hey everybody on Twitch, hey Dissidians.
So
that was good. We are your source for podcast-based information about this particular game.
There we go. Nobody can say that we are not.
Zero competition.
So
zero competition.
Well, it's still right. Right off the bat, I want to say thank you again to Fastcart last week for being a guest host with us. It was a great experience. It was great to have a third wheel again. Those who have been listening to this podcast for many a moon knows what we're referring to. And why, while we're at it, why not say a shout to Ben, that used to be one of the creators of Crystal Chronicles podcast a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But yeah, so thank you, Fastcard. Hopefully you, dear viewers, Dissidians, Twitchers, listeners, appreciated the moment. So, what's been up, Mark?
I made some delicious cheesy bacon, brown sugar pork chops tonight.
Oh.
And fried potato dumplings. So that was delicious. So that's how I spent most of my day doing that. I should have been working, but
As long as you made it with a good heart.
Those potato dumplings were calling. Yeah, and before we get back to Final Fantasy or Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, I downloaded the Harry Potter game that just came out, the mobile game Mystery
of the in-app purchase?
Yeah, Hogwarts Mystery, something like that. Yeah, it's a cute game. It's just a frustrating pay-to-play mechanic. It uses stamina like a lot of other mobile games, but you can only get through quests and learn spells by using stamina. And so basically the game mechanic is kind of like Candy Crush. It wants you to spend money to get stamina. Yeah, so it's basically like reading a Harry Potter book, which I'm a Harry Potter fan, but reading a Harry Potter book like a paragraph every 6 hours.
Wow.
So if you don't want to spend ridiculous amounts of money on it, which it's not giving me any reason to spend money on it. That's the sad part. Like, if you want to charge me for 99 cents for the next chapter, I'm okay with that model. If you want to charge me for like clothes or special things like that, I'm okay with that. If you want to charge me for gacha, but if you want to charge me for just being able to play your game, no, thank you.
Yeah, there's a strip on Penny Arcade about that game right now. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, I haven't. No, I haven't been keeping up with Penny Arcade.
Basically, Taiko's kid is asking, can we download the game? And I won't tell the whole strip, but basically in the second frame, Taiko is saying, I would buy it if it were actually a game, but it's not a game. It's an evil trap made by criminals to make good children steal all their parents' money.
Yeah.
And it's only legal because the old men who make the laws don't know what a computer is. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there you go. That's about right.
Well,
yeah, because I would probably buy it if it was just buy this game. Yeah, right. But no, thank you. So.
We'll have a link to that should I say, to that comic in the show notes for sure. But so I'm not surprised to hear that it's as terrible money wise as the great guys at Penny Arcade have let me know. So, but thankfully we're not an Hogwarts based source of podcasting information.
It would be a real short podcast.
Yeah, so that's been it. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
But would not be pleasant either.
So we don't have much news in terms of Dissidia information. However, there's for this, well, we don't know if it's going to be that way for all the events, but you did notice that for the co-op event, the Ace-based event that we're going to talk a little later, the co-op points requirements have been lowered. The first reward is at 100,000 points, second and third at 400,000 points, fourth and fifth at 700 points. Now, do you think it's because it's really, really, really hard to make a good score on that monster? They figured nobody's going to get to 1 million?
Yeah, the only reason I say that is because it was announced in the in-app announcement for this event. So I don't think it was in a separate announcement that, oh, we're changing the points for co-op. It was part of the Ace event, Unparalleled something banner. So, yeah, so I'm a little leery. We'll see when we have the next event. Because this boss is a real hard boss to get. 50, 100, 200,000. I mean, there was people in the Rams event with, 200,000 scores. I haven't seen that for this boss yet. So if you do, let us know. I'd like to know.
I would like to have screenshots of that. Screens or it didn't happen. But you want to hear something funny? We talked last week about the 72-hour gem special that was going on. And as you all know, I did a live draw for Squall's 35 weapon and ended up with absolute crap. Not believing my luck after a podcast.
Like an off-banner item, right?
Yeah, it was something. It was a Galif banner. Galif item, I believe. Now, not believing my very, very awful luck, right after the podcast, I did another draw, because I figure it can't, it can't be that bad. It has to be better than whatever I just did. And I got Vanille's 15 CP, and everything else was 3-star. So not even a 4-star, nothing big. So it was on my mind and something. So I finally decided, when was it? I think it was like Friday or something. I decided, you know what? Screw this. I have like 2,500 gems. I'm buying the pack, the second tier pack. I'm gonna get the armor token. I'm gonna get the stupid armor boost, whatever. I get in the game, but the cell is gone.
Oh wow!
So I didn't buy any gems.
There you go.
I decided, I said I was keeping myself for lightning. I decided, at that point, I'm just gonna wait for the girl.
Good call.
Yeah, come on.
But we still do have sales, gem sales. Yeah, not nearly as good as the 72-hour sale, but
I was gonna go for the armor tokens. Square had my money.
Yeah, that
was
nice.
Right
that
there,
was nice.
But yeah, it's still.
Wait till the next one.
I'm kind of glad I didn't fall for that. Well, I was gonna fall for it. I don't know if I get any credit for not falling for it due to the fact that it was no longer available, but. Yeah, we'll just pretend. Lost Chapters. So it's been out for a week now. We've had more time to play. A little reminder, if I am not wrong, Fastcard did mention that the Lost Chapters special missions were only there for 2 weeks.
Yes.
At the time that we are recording this, the Remza event is going on for another 45 minutes. The Wall of Illusions is only there for another day and 45 minutes. And you have 7-ish days left to complete the Lost Chapters
special missions.
Yeah, the special missions. But let's go over the Lost Chapters real quick. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk on Reddit, on Discord, and everywhere about the different strategies to beat those Lost Chapters, and especially the level 90, aka freaking impossible missions. One of the first note you made, you said general info, Eiko.
Yeah, Eiko seems to be kind of an MVP here in this event. Eiko with her 15 CP weapon, I believe that is the weapon, is that Priest Racket? That is the weapon
Yep.
that gives her from a 6-turn HP regen to a 12-turn HP regen with attack boost. And so, she is a healer, which is super helpful in these missions where you're taking a lot of HP damage. She's also a Brave Battery, which is helpful. She also does magic damage, which is helpful in certain events. Obviously, the Berserker Armor event where they're weak to magic, or not resistant to magic, I should say. They're not weak to it. They're just not resistant to it. So Eiko is a potential viable team member on any of these events, basically. I don't have any of Eiko's weapons, sadly, so she's not a viable option in my team. I've seen some people bring her without her weapons, but I don't know. I brought her, I believe, as a friend assist once, just to bring her in, hit the HP regen, and go from there. So that's a possibility too.
Well, once you use
if you're so inclined.
That HP regen from a friend, she's not really, well, she can do that other ability that will give Brave to everyone, but
yeah,
it might be a little bit of a waste of an attack, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, well, you're going to give the HP regen and the attack buff to two characters, and hopefully, if you're bringing her as a friend, you're bringing in a friend that has the 35 CP weapon, so her other attack is buffed, so she can do the other attack, or you can just spam the HP regen. Use her as a Brave Battery. So
yeah, good call. Some of these in the eye level battles for the last chapters, I did notice that getting a score out of these battles, even with my best team getting that in under 10 turns, was nearly impossible. The score requirements, not the 3 objectives, but the total score requirement was crazy high. What's been your strategy to get past that and get a good score?
So score requirements, especially in the mob levels, where you're not fighting a boss, but you're just fighting regular, level 90 goblins. So one way to deal with the score, so yeah, you don't get broken or you don't take the HP damage or anything else, but one way to deal with the score is to get together a knockback team. So consider bringing Cloud or Cecil or Laylee. I like Cecil just because it's kind of guaranteed, and I think he gets to do it 4 times. Because when
he loses life, but I guess if you team him up with Eiko,
well, or you just don't worry
or
about
Rem.
it. you basically hope you win soon enough that it's not a big deal.
That makes sense.
So anyway, when you knock a character back or knock them into the chase mechanic, and when you do your HP and your Brave attacks in the knockback, your summon gauge increases considerably. So that is a good way to basically break summon gauge quickly, is to basically knock back enemies. So if you then equip your summon gauge, you get your summon gauge, you do yet less turns, obviously, so you're saving turns, and you can get higher scores because you're taking less turns. A lot of your score is based on the number of turns you take, so...
And while you're fighting with a summon, it's not increasing the number of turns you're doing.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, and again, knockback doesn't go against your turn count either.
That's what I was
those
trying
are
to say.
Yeah, those are extra actions, and then summon is extra actions without taking extra turns. So.
And basically, that strategy is only good with the summons such as Chocobo or Sylph, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But if you're fighting. Yeah, if you're doing the non-boss levels, then yes, that is only particularly viable in using Chocobo or Sylph. So
yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense. I will definitely try that because I've been trying, banging my head against the night table to get freaking good scores on some of those, enemies only quick battles, and Yeah, it's been a chore. So if we go over real quick those level 90 fights on the last chapters for each of the chapter, you've got the Lionheart level 90, which is 2 Gaia Behemoth. So not only one, it kind of reminds me of the what's his face? One of the first co-op we had. It was the Ball Tears event where you had 2 Machinas, 2 robots to fight. So this one is also 2 big things, 2 Gaia Behemoth. Obviously, I'm fairly sure that you did that fight with good old Squall in your team, right?
I did do that. Squall is one of those characters that you can bring. It's Squall, Zidane, and Zidane, and Tifa, I believe, are synergy in that realm.
Yeah, you can bring anyone, but they get more power.
My Squall is fully broken. So yeah, I was able to clear a Lion's Heart, the entire event, and complete it. Clear and complete. So easy and hard. So I've completely finished that event, including the level 90 boss battle, a Lion's Heart Part 10. If you want to know, my score is 27,960. It's not, I'm sure, as impressive as some's, but yeah. So this is, of course, these level 90 ones are tough. The mobs are tough. Then you have kind of a mini boss, which is the regular behemoth, I believe. Yep, regular behemoth, and then you have 2 Gaia behemoths at the end. So it is a really tough battle, and it takes a long time. So there's a lot of different strategies. Most of the strategies that I have seen online and have used require at least one character who is fully level broken and has a 35 CP weapon, or 2. So I haven't seen a lot of poor builds for these level 90 events, and should there be, honestly, right? They're level 90, our characters are level 50. Obviously, a level 90 event should be difficult, but they're not unbeatable depending on the gear you have. My team... Oh, go ahead.
There were different... there were 2 teams of people whining about it on the internet. The first part were people requesting or asking or ordering Square to nerf those fights, claiming they were too powerful. And then you had the other side that were saying, no, don't do anything. It's exactly the kind of challenge that we want. Obviously, the lost chapters will be there forever. So just as in FFRK, for example, when the Nightmare Dungeons were open forever, as hard as they were when they first opened, as your different teams got better and better gear, they got easier for the people who couldn't make it through the first time. So my guess here is that you're more part of that second team that say, leave it there. A good challenge is exactly what we as players want, right?
Well, I think you have to have increasing challenges, but you also, in a free-to-play game that makes its money on gotcha weaponry, you have to have something for the people that spend money on the game. And for those people that are getting all of this equipment, you need challenges that are going to make you need to have the equipment that they spent money on.
A justification for spending that money.
So, I mean, you're going to have challenges that rise to the level of gameplay that somebody with 6 or 7 fully limit broken characters with 35 CWP weapons is going to have at this point in the game, and even at that point, they might not be able to do all of these fights. I mean, you need a whole bunch of different characters, right? I mean, if you had certain characters, you might be able to get away with it. I think if you had Preesh and Eiko and Titus, you could probably get through most of these okay, but still. You need a lot of different characters, a lot of different skills, really powerful characters. So, I mean, I think you want to do things that keep the money players engaged, because they are the people that are funding the game, right? I love games that encourage free-to-play. I love games that are accessible to free-to-play players like this game is, but the free-to-play players are not keeping this game floating. There's no pop-ups. in this game, right? There's no advertisements. There's no, let's go on to Facebook so you can play for 5 more minutes. You can play this game nonstop. Like, you have to understand that. You can play this game nonstop. Yes, there's 10 cycle quests a day. Yes, there's stamina for the World of Illusions, but you can grind whatever you want and whatever level you want.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
like you could stay up as soon as a new character goes and just grind that character in World 7 all night long, right? So you're getting a game completely free, and you're given a pretty healthy amount of gems to get some of the gotcha weapons, some of the good weapons. So this is a playable game for free. But again, the free players are not the ones making money because there's no ads, there's no revenue. So the way the game makes money is people spending money on it. And so you want to make sure that the base that is spending the highest tier of money, the VIPs of the game, that they have challenges that are equipping, that are, there for people that really want that challenge.
It makes a lot of sense. You're absolutely right. How much did you spend to get all of those 35 CP weapons, or was it just pure luck?
Well, I spent 40,000 gems, but I hadn't been drawing on anything.
Yeah, that's right. You were waiting for Squall's 35 CP. So your dream team, you said it was Squall, Le Zidane, and Tifa. Was it Tifa or Yuna?
No. I used Squall, and I have Squall's fully broken. I have Zidane, and his 15 CP is fully broken, and I have Ramza fully broken.
Oh, that's right, Ramza.
So I did a couple pulls after we got, these extra gems, for lost chapters, for, extra tickets. So I kind of dumped some stuff into Ramza and got really lucky on Ramza. So now I have Ramza bossed out, which is nice. And still some gems left over.
So at the end of these fights, with these 3 characters and your 35 CP and everything, considering how hard and long they are, did you have any abilities used left? Because usually when I get into fights that are this hard, I get really, really... I sound like Patrick Beja when I say this. He's a podcaster from France that obviously has a big accent, and every time I go and say really, really, that's all I can think of. But seriously, all of my abilities are at 0, and I'm finding myself just hitting brave, and obviously I get beaten down, within an inch of my life or die out. So what was the end of the fight like for you, fighting like those 2 Gaia Behemoth or the 2 Berserker Armors or whatever? How did you get past these bosses with your abilities?
That is a good question. I'm going to see if I have any record of it. I don't think I do. Video record of it, at least. So I would say Ramza had some abilities left over. Zidane probably did not. And Squall may have had some solid barrel left over at the end of that fight. I also brought Squall as a friend, which I brought a fully limit broke Squall as a friend to do extra DPS damage because he's buffed. So it's a good friend to bring.
I had a question that just popped in my mind and I forgot. Oh, do you keep your abilities until the last wave, not the last battle, but the last wave, and just use the normal brave attack for all of the other waves? Okay, yeah, that's what I do as well. I figure that's the only way to get out there alive.
Yeah, in these kind of battles, especially this level 90 battle, yeah, you have to save up your... You might, like, if you're using Ramza, you might pop his support, like, the round before. So you have support going into it, but yeah. And you have to be careful. You have to be smart about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and it's a very good challenge. I think I was able to clear it and complete it. So I don't know if I did it 2 or 3 times. I have not done the other level 90s, but I have done that one because I have Squall basically. So that makes the difference.
All right.
So there are other a lot of other things, but I definitely bring Squall as a friend. Just you can find my Squall. He's on there, fully limit broken, in his full glory. So you can friend me on there and bring him along to help with that.
I'll add your friend code in the show notes. Here, let me put it on a note. Rev friend code. All right. Now the Vanille chapter, the girl from Werba. Or Erba, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and quite frankly, I don't care too much. The final boss was that for that event were 2 Berserker armor.
This is the tough one.
They resist physical and range damage, so that means leave Waka on the bench, leave anything that uses a sword on the bench. You might want to bring obviously Vanille and Hope because they are. Actually, Hope is a ranged character, but he's also one of
He has magic. Well, he doesn't have magic. He has Protect and Shell and Brave Armor. I think the reason to bring Hope for this is because he has Protect, and that helps your damage, the damage you take, quite a bit.
But he's also a chapter sub character for the Vanilla Lost.
Yeah. He gets buffed. Right?
Yeah, he gets buffed.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3 boosted characters are Vanille, Hope, and Yuna. Yuna, obviously, for the Marlboro.
Oh, yeah.
Is really nice with Insuna, if you have her weapon. Yeah, so, these Berserker armors are tough. It's tough because we don't have a lot of magic DPS, really. I mean, we got Ace now, so this is a option. So I've seen a lot of people in the final one, because you don't face a Marlboro with the Berserker armor. You face the Marlboro by itself, so you just kind of have to live through that battle, I guess. I've seen a lot of teams with Vanille, Hope, and Eiko. And that's, again, if you have Vanille's weapons and Hope's weapons and Eiko's weapons, you're not going in without them. I think I used Vanille, Hope, and Yuna, Vanille, Ramza, and Yuna. So I have Vanille's 35 CP weapon and her 15 CP weapon fully limit broken. I don't have her 35 fully limit broken, but I have her 15 mastered. I don't have anything for Hope. I have Yuna's weapon.
I don't know.
Fully limit broken.
I don't see myself ever fighting a Marlboro without bringing Yuna, even without her 15 CP weapon, because
in the early ones I've done I have not done the final 3, so I've done every thing except for the 70, 80, and 90. So I mean, definitely in the ones before the 70. So in the 70 you don't have a Marlboro,
okay, so
you don't need Yuna, but you get one in the 80. Yeah, you get one in the 80. And you get one in the 90. So
plan accordingly.
So Ace and Terra might be viable options against if you have their weapons. So there are some people trying to bring Ace in and doing that kind of damage. He has a ranged weapon, but he does magic damage, so that's helpful.
Kind of like Hope,
but
I guess.
That's definitely the... Yeah, except Ace does magic DPS instead of support abilities.
Oh, right.
Hope has Protect and Shell. Ace actually has damage.
And
I think that is the hardest of the 3.
All right, and to finish up, like you just said, the 3, there's Cecil's chapter, Castles in the Sky, where no castles were actually introduced or shown or whatever, where you fight 2 dumb, ferocious avian birds that are weak to wind and ranged attack, and you might want to bring in Setzer because he's the chapter, he gets the buff. And who are the other 2 characters for that one?
It is Setzer, Yuffie, and Laguna. I think you're probably going to want to leave Laguna, Laguna, and Yuffie, which I guess could be Yuna. If they were dating. I would think you will want to leave them home and stick to Setzer. I've seen people use Preesh, Titus, Van, Vincent. There's some people saying Vincent's really helpful if you have his 35 CP weapon.
35 CP.
Yeah. So I have done everything but that one. Yeah, I've not done 80 or 90 in that. And I used Laguna, Setzer, and Ramza to beat everything up until 80.
So basically, in a nutshell, level 90, you will need 35 CP weapons if you want to have a chance to make a dent through that, right?
If you do it without those, I would be very interested to watch that video.
Yeah, we want to know. Kupo at tccpodcast.com if you did
might
that.
Be possible. I mean, it is well within the realm of good strategy, good planning, some luck. It could happen, certainly. Yeah. Most of the builds that I've seen and the completions I've seen, including my own of level 90s, have been with characters that are, 35 CP weapons.
All right.
Fully limit broken.
Unparalleled Power, introducing Ace. You didn't play Final Fantasy Type 0, did you?
I have not played Final Fantasy Type 0.
Neither did I, but there's something really, really... Jeez, I did it again. There's something strange with that, the story behind this. It seems that, whenever someone dies, they get forgotten. Now, can you imagine you're at the hospital, the whole family's around Grandpa, everybody's super sad.
Yeah.
The heart stops beating. They all get up, freaked out. Why are we holding a corpse? Who is this? I mean, what's wrong with these? I need to play that game because I can't understand how the whole forgetting about someone.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably better. It's probably better developed in the game than it is in this storyline in Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. But yeah, they kind of make it out to seem, when someone dies, we forget them. Then we can move on with our lives. And the crystals just help us forget. Well, I mean, obviously this is not in the context of the game, which is a military academy and all that kind of stuff. But in life, if that was the reality, the operating system of life, then yeah, so I wake up one day and my wife dies and I have kids. How am I, where did these kids come from, right? I don't, well, I guess if they're making me forget, they can rewrite, or, one of my kids dies, or, right, your parents die, or, even in the game, each of the people in the academy have a number, so there's Deuce and, Ace and King and Queen. So if King dies, suddenly we're Ace and Queen and Jack. When somebody said what happened to King? Why is there no King? The crystal would be oh, there's just never been a king. I guess it's some weird crystal propaganda, 1984 stuff going on. Yeah, we've always been at war with Eurasia, of course. So it's interesting. I mean, I like the philosophical quandary. I like the little story in this event where he's exposed to the fact that this chocobo dies. Spoilers. And
spoilers. You ruined the story.
Oh, man. The chocobo died. What chocobo? Exactly. But yeah, so now he has to deal with this. I will say the one thing that I'm kind of miffed about is we already have 3... Right? We already have 3 Type O characters. Seriously? We have 3 Type O characters? Type O is not even a numbered Final Fantasy. We have how many Final Fantasy 15 characters do we have? How many Final Fantasy 2 characters, 1 characters, 3, 4, 5? I mean, we got a handful of 7.
Fastcart on Twitch just stole my joke. Well, kind of. He said, "What? It dies, but I have 23 Phoenix down in my inventory." Yeah, not right. Oh, I'm gonna use a Phoenix. Wait, who's that corpse? Ah, don't worry about it. Oh,
Yeah,
he's
no,
back.
right?
Oh, he's gone. So, yeah, no, seriously, I need to play that game. I wonder, I am so ignorant about it. I don't even know what console. Now,
I remember the what was it on?
yeah, it was freaking PSP.
Yeah, it was a PSP game, right? The opening cutscene is pretty intense. If you've never watched the opening cutscene, it's pretty intense.
Wait, it says it was released in Japan. Did that game ever made it to the States?
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, well, Wikipedia, you useless piece of junk. Um, so, you can buy it on Steam. Well,
Okay,
there
yeah.
we go. Just gonna lie about my birth date real quick to see this page. Um, it's a mature game. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty violent, actually, compared to some other Final
Rated
Fantasy.
17 for blood, drug reference, suggestive theme, and what was the other one? Violence. Yeah, well, we kind of understood the blood didn't come out by itself. It had to be beaten into.
But if you forget about it, who cares? So. Anyway, so why? I mean, I know there's some huge Typo fans, and God bless you, but I mean, one or two Typo characters is great. I'm not really sure why we.
Yeah.
Like how many characters from Final Fantasy VI do we have? One of the favorites.
No, 3.
No.
Cesar,
No.
Shadow.
Oh yeah, we
Terra.
do have mine. Mine are not in order.
Yep.
Yeah, but sort by series. Here we go. Yeah. So yeah, three Typo, 1 Tactics, 214, 313, 312, 211, 310, 39, 49, 38, 47, 36, 35, 34, 13, 12. So I mean, it's not. So it is on par with the named Final Fantasies. So they are giving Type O the status of a normal Final Fantasy, which I don't necessarily think it deserves. If we don't have Kingdom Hearts, and if we don't have, Final Fantasy 15.
Now that we've got our old man rant out of the way, I saw on Twitter you posted something about, hey, Ace, level 50, da-da-da.
Yeah.
What is so incredible about Ace? I mean, he uses ranged weapons. He's got this kind of weird-ass card mechanic. What was so great that you had him to level 50? Did you draw something for him, or?
I did draw something for him, so that helped. But
there we go.
I'm trying to get most of my characters to 50-50 anyway, so
Wow.
with his double XP, that really helps. So, yeah, Ace is basically one of our few magic DPS characters right now. We're going to get, in the upcoming weeks and months, we're going to get Seymour, who is a debuffer, magic debuff. We're going to get Papa Lemo, who is fairly weak, but is obviously magic based. I'm trying to think off the top of my head without actually looking at the. I can tell you here in a second, without actually looking at the list of upcoming events here. So, but yeah, we're kind of struggling with magic DPS. We have Terra, who's a fairly strong magic damage character. We have Hope and Yuna, who are really Brave Battery support. We're going to get Creel eventually, but it's going to be a while. So, I mean, she is, what is Creel considered in the list of things? If I can even find her. So we're not going to get Rydia for a while. Rydia is decent DPS. But, where's Crilly? Crilly, where are you? What are you? Crilly!
Cryle.
Is she a Brave Battery? Yeah, I think
Let's
she's a
see.
Brave Battery. If I
Kill.
look her up. So anyway, well, you look up Creel and see what she does. Anyway, the point is we don't have a lot of magical DPS. And so Ace does serve the role as a magical DPS character. He does range damage normally, but if you use his abilities, they do magic damage, which is really nice. Magic Brave and magic HP damage. He has some unique abilities, which I really like. His ability are basically card stacking. So Ace's mechanics work off of getting cards in his deck. Regardless of what weapon you have for him, if you do a Brave attack, you get 1 card. If you do an HP attack, you get 2 cards. If you use Burst, his normal abilities, Burst, which is a Brave attack, or Spiral Combo, which is a Brave and HP attack, which is nice, character with magic, or a Brave and HP attack, you get 3 cards. So you can just do normal Brave attacks to get 1 card, HP attack to do 2 cards. You can do Brave and HP to get 3 cards, or you can use one of these special abilities to get 3 cards. And once you get 3 cards, these abilities change. So Burst turns into Mega Burst, and Spiral Combo turns into Great Spiral Combo, and obviously they become more powerful attacks. Both attacks are magic attacks. So it's different. I mean, that's one of the things I like about this game. Each character is a little different. Sometimes those differences make them kind of bad. Sometimes those differences make them kind of interesting. So I did pull his 15 CP weapon. So I've been playing with him. His 15 CP weapon makes Burst better and gives him a self max Brave up, which is nice. And yeah, he's a really interesting character. Tara's going to be better when she gets her 35 CP weapon, but for now, which is coming soon. But for now, he's a nice option, and he's a nice additional DPS guy. So I kind of like him. I encourage you to play around with him.
All right, we're losing you here a little bit, both on audio and video, and here you're back. Basically, so that banner introduced 3 new items. Let's try that again. 3 levels 15 CP items for Ace, Bartz, and Vivi, and 2 level 35 CP weapons. So no love for Vivi on that banner whatsoever. This being said, the boss is a Tortoise. He's weak to fire, so Vivi is still kind of useful. When he's in his shell, he's really resistant. Kind of sticks to HP attack. Basic Brave. It takes a little time. It's not too hard. Now, when you get into the co-op, that's where things get really, really messy. And I believe from your experience, Bartz and Vivi are not a super great help to get past that boss, right?
Yeah, their abilities are just not real good for this boss. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's just a tough boss. There's a couple strategies that I've seen. Are you hearing me? Okay, am I coming through?
Yeah,
okay?
You're back.
So there's 2 basic strategies I've seen for the level 70 co-op. The first is a knockback or a chase team. So you bring 2 chase characters, so Cecil, Cloud, Laylee, and 1 DPS character. And everybody brings a Freet. And so basically you do knockback until you charge a Freet, and then you go to town on a Freet. Obviously, the boss is weak to fire damage, and you just, spam a Freet till he dies. The other option I've seen people doing, which is probably one that will lead to a higher score. So this is leading to maybe a 30 to 35,000 point score, is bring Yuna and 2 DPS characters with Chocobo or Sylph, and Yuna can charge Brave while the boss is in his shell. Because your Brave attacks aren't doing anything when the boss is in his shell, just a couple hundred. So Yuna is braving up when everybody else is not really doing anything. And that way you're able to, bring Chocobo, Sylph, and spam those guys when you need to.
So basically, don't waste your abilities against the boss when he's in his shell.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, I know there's no reason to. It's just It's too resistant when he's in his shell. He's just super resistant to damage. So unless you're doing HP damage, but if you're doing any Brave damage, if you're doing Brave plus HP damage, yeah, it's not worth it. Not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
So
So yeah, I brought. I've only done it a couple times. I may have only done it once, but I brought Ace, so he's useful in this event.
does he have fire-based attacks or?
He does not,
Okay.
but he's buffed and he's good DPS.
All right. Would you say the VVs you saw were not fully level broken, or even there?
No, my I have VV I have a decent VV.
You have a decent VV.
I have a decent VV. I have his weapon. It's not fully limit broken, but I have his weapon. He's 50-50. His powers are just not real good right now. I mean, the fire power is a brave attack. Yeah, he's weak to fire. But once he's in his shell, it doesn't matter that he's weak to fire. And his focus ability is only 2 turns buff. So, okay. I mean, so you're doing focus and then fire, focus, fire, or, focus, fire, HP attack. It's just not good DPS.
So the low score that people get out of the battle is due to the fact that it takes so many turns to grind that thing off because he hides in his shell for
so that video
turns.
We shared last week for the Ramza event of the guys who did the 2 Cecils and Ramza.
Yep.
And beat it in like 5 turns. Yeah, the reason they got 200,000 points is because they beat it in 5 turns.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So if it takes 150 turns, you're not going to get...
You might get a little less.
And then getting 700,000 points is going to be a lot of work. So
yeah, for real. All right, moving on to the question of the week. The question that we decided, the thing we decided to talk about this week is, what is your favorite and least favorite character model in the Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia? Favorite, I gotta say, I really like, what's her face? Lena? No, not Lena. The one that we just got from Final Fantasy V, the pirate girl.
I don't think Lena's in this one.
No, she's not. Ferris.
Ferris.
Now, the one I really dislike, and I'm going to pop up my phone here to show that awful thing to everyone, is this thing here, Shadow. What is wrong with those weird... He's just strange. He's just like weirdly shaped. I don't know. It bugs me. There's something strange about the way he was portrayed by the Japanese people who did this, because the other characters, I mean, it's Shadow for me. He's got like those super huge hands, and yeah, that doesn't work. What about you?
Hear you. Well, I think the Final Fantasy IX characters look most at home in this. With these sprites, I mean, they kind of look similar to what they looked like in Final Fantasy IX, and this version of Dissidia kind of has that same cartoony kind of feel that Final Fantasy IX did. So I think those characters look most at home. I think Shadow and even Setzer. I think Setzer kind of looks off, and I don't know why the Final Fantasy VI characters look off, but. Yeah, I don't hate any of the sprites. I don't think. I'm looking through just to double check. I don't know about this Waka guy. He's kind of
well, there's something with Galuf, and it's not the game. It's just that's not how I portrayed him.
Well, yeah, that outfit is kind of.
Yeah, no, the outfit is terrible. Yeah. But again,
he's also he's also quite a bit thinner, I think. Although Bartz is, of course, Bartz is kind of lean in Dissidia compared to how he's portrayed in the anime or how he's portrayed in some of the artwork. But
all right,
I hear you.
So yeah, we don't have a lot of bad things to say. I gotta say the graphics on that thing is incredible. So seriously, they did an amazing job to animate and kind of create because they had to create the 3D models for so many characters, or even little victory dance for a whole bunch of them. Because I know they took pretty much anything from Final Fantasy 7 and up and did it exactly as it was. But for anything before that, I mean, they can't have characters like going like this all the time. So no, seriously, the work that was done on this is just marvelous. So
yeah.
Next week we're going to talk about which Square-Enix crossover would you like to see in Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia,
or Square if you're going back a few years.
Square, back when it was
which
Square
which company crossover.
So
yeah.
Do you think they'll do that? They'll start, once they ran out of characters and type O characters.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Because looking back, you talk about King, Ace, and I never made that connection. But does that mean we're gonna get Queen, Jack 9, 8, 7, 6?
There's a lot of characters in Type O. Yeah, look at that when we get offline. Yeah, there's a lot of characters in Type O. Just like Final Fantasy. I mean, there's tons of characters in Final Fantasy Tactics, and
Well, I'm considering
you're playing NPCs in Final Fantasy 11 and 14, so at that point you could bring in anybody.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
And Wedge.
Well, that's going to be it for us. Yeah. Obviously, you had a great time. I know we did. Thank you, people on Twitch. It seems that the little alert when we came live didn't go out quickly. We'll blame Twitch for that because we did everything right as always. Obviously, we're on all your social medias. So the Twitter at FFTCC Podcast, website with all the other links. That's tccpodcast.com. Question, comments, candy bacon recipes for Mark. You can send those to Kupo at tccpodcast.com. We'll address that on our next stream. And thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you for listening to us. And we'll be there next week. And hopefully you'll be there as well. So have a good one.